consulting on Aaron Sorkin's film, which has not been titled. It's in process.
I am consulting, and you know what? As far as I know, there's no script written. In other words, they will take the input from the first-hand sources and create a script from it, rather than a first-hand source coming in. Can you modify our script a little here and there? That wouldn't have worked. It was.
So how is that project going?
So you know what? You know what? I saw a trailer about the Ashton Kutcher film, and it was so wrong and backwards of Steve directing something towards me when it was really the opposite in real life. And you know what? And I commented about that. And he headline said that I said the movie was crappy. I never said that once, because I don't say it till I see it. And so Ashton Kutcher said that I was saying the movie was lousy because I was being paid by the other one. You know what? I don't do things. My principles aren't affected by money. In the movie, you'll see that there were a whole bunch of people that helped us start this company, hung around the garage and all. Those people got Steve Jobs, in the movie Steve Jobs, it was really not Steve Jobs himself, said they don't get any stock and we at the top get all of it. So you know what I did? I took my stock and I gave them huge blocks. I'm not going to tell you the number.
Right, you gave people your own stock. We know that story really well. What words do you have for Ashton Kutcher? What would you like to say to him?
You know what? I'm really easy to get a hold of. He could have called me and consulted over the phone anytime. I got from Daniel Kotke, who's a star in the film and a consultant, I got the email address of his management company to email him to tell him I had not said that the movie was lousy because I hadn't seen it, you know. And I never got an email back.
So what was Steve Jobs really like? How visionary was Steve Jobs? He always took the role of, you have to somehow think higher level thoughts and put this air mystique on, which is vision. And it's got to be, and is your vision accurate? He was not that good at executing, in other words, coming up with a vision that was makeable into profits today. A product that people wanted enough that a company could make a profit on it. He wasn't until he returned. Then he was more stable and exercised and into the operations of a company. Then was he a visionary?
He understood it. Well, he was a visionary before. No, he was a visionary with the Macintosh and seeing this was the future. You know what? There were a whole bunch of us that were the visionaries. Jeff Raskin, who took us there, and Bill Atkinson, and we all saw it and said, oh my, once you have this, you'll never go back. How can we make it at a price it can sell? The Lisa cost $20,000 of today's dollars, $10,000 then. It's shown in the movie. That's too much for a personal computer. If you wait a few years, the prices come down, and now it's affordable. And we kind of gave Microsoft the idea to do it once it was affordable.
Steve, do you think Steve Jobs gets too much credit?
Oh, no, I never try to think that. No, no. Well, sometimes in some areas he gets credit for what other people deserve. But you know what? No, he actually seems to be, I don't know, maybe he was trying to orchestrate everything seems to come from him when it came from large groups of people. He acknowledges everyone, really. He was always very friendly and nice to me. So I'd say no. I think he's the greatest technology leader of our lives. I think he did a lot to improve my life and your life, and deserves that credit.
Yet you say Ashton Kutcher got a lot of things wrong.
That's for the early stage. That's when Steve Jobs came back to Apple. From that point on, yes, he knew how to execute, how to run a company, and how to make products that people wanted and that were good. And it was still some time before he had that big success with the iPod, and it was going open. So I really admire Steve Jobs. I just don't think the movie is accurate the way it portrays his relationship with others.
In the break, I asked you if you read Walter Isaacson's book, and you said you hadn't. You don't read Apple books. Why not?
I read them in the early days, and they always had the early start of Apple so wrong, so missing the important facts. I mean, if you want to see how to be a young technologist and come up with ideas to build products that will change the world, read my book, I Was. That's one of them. It may not apply to this day and era, but it'll give you a lot better idea. I think the real secret is having good technologists who are very skilled and can create new great things and up on all the latest parts and abilities to use them and think out ways that have never been done before, like me. And to have somebody like Steve Jobs who wants to have a business and wants to drive a business and make the phone calls and do the paperwork and get other people interested and bring them on board and speak to the public. So that was a really good combination.
So you are consulting on Aaron Sorkin.
The Apple II is half Steve Jobs. I mean, he was heavily involved in driving it to the public and giving it a reason for being and marketing and a lot of that stuff.
Right. I want to talk about Aaron Sorkin's movie because you are involved in that movie so far. How is that going? What can you tell us about the project and what sort of input you've given them and what have they asked you?
Yeah, I can't remember, but I talk openly. When they ask questions, I give them fill in as far as they want to go, and I'll meet as many times as they want. And